Happy New Year. Let's trust that 2026 is the year when bank retirees, especially the super elders, finally get updation relief after 20 years of denied justice. Today, January 4th, we're zeroing in on a massive legal updation fight in the Supreme Court of India.
Indeed. Enough is enough. This is a fight that could really reshape the financial future for, well, potentially hundreds of thousands of bank retirees. And if AIBPARC is taken at its word, 26 is a code red for updation justice.
We are diving into the MC Singla case, the leading lawsuit which concerns service laws and specifically the really contentious issue of bank pension updation.
And this is a deep dive where we're going to completely bypass, the social media rumors and all the speculation. Our analysis is built entirely on two things: the official Supreme Court registry data for diary number 4295/2016 and the recent detailed circulars from the All India Bank Pensioners and Retirees Confederation, or AIBPARC.
Right. And that's our mission today. We're going to take these really dense legal documents and organizational memos and just synthesize them. We want a crystal clear understanding of the case's current status, the high stakes, and most critically, the precise future dates you need to watch in early 2026.
Yeah.
And this isn't just about a calendar, it's about the sheer weight of this issue
Yeah.
to the financial security of old age pensioners and entire families hanging on a court decision.
Okay, let's unpack this. When we look at the official documents, the first thing that jumps out is just the sheer weight of the history involved. I mean, this litigation, it isn't new at all. It has been a marathon. The original filing date goes all the way back to February 3rd, 2016.
9 years. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
9 years of procedural struggle, legal gamesmanship, of legal drafting, and, most importantly, 9 years of waiting for these aging bank retirees.
And it took until November 21st, 2023 for the case to even be formally admitted.
Wow.
That long journey, it tells you one thing: this is complex. It's not an easy matter for the court to resolve, especially with the financial ramifications across the whole banking sector.
Okay. So, bringing us to the present, or at least the very recent past, the Supreme Court listed the case most recently on December 10th, 2025.
For a final hearing, which is a big deal.
It is. And when a case this significant finally gets listed for a final hearing, everyone pays attention. Who was on the bench on December 10th? I mean, that's essential for understanding the environment, right?
It is. That day, the bench was composed of the Honorable Mr. Justice Vikram Nath and the Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, and they had ordered that the final hearing be listed for December 17th, so just 1 week later. That was the target date everyone was focused on.
So, a clear critical date?
Absolutely, yes.
December 17th. But then the AIBPR circular, which gives us that crucial on the ground communication, confirms the case was immediately adjourned from that December 10th listing.
Exactly. And that sets up this sort of perfect storm of judicial calendar interruption right at the end of the year.
Right. But what's fascinating here isn't just the delay itself, it's the gravity of the litigation as the organizations see it.
The AIBPARC Circular explicitly tells its members that this case, and I'm quoting here, has to be handled carefully as it is very delicate and involving far-reaching consequences for all bank pensioners.
That phrasing, delicate and far reaching, that gives us the core insight. It's not just some procedural matter, it's a precedent setting decision that could dramatically alter the financial stability of countless retirees.
Absolutely. The gravity is also all about the financial liability.
Of course,
Pension updation means making sure pensions keep pace with salary revisions with inflation. If the court rules for the retirees, it sets a massive new liability standard for all the public sector banks.
which explains why the organizations are moving so cautiously.
One wrong move could jeopardize everything for the whole bank retirees community.
And that's the perfect cue for dissecting this case further. Who is actually shouldering the burden of this 9 year fight? Let's look at the key players and the legal strategy behind the scenes.
Okay, so we know from the court records the original core group, MC Singla, deceased, and others who are now represented by a legal counsel team and several bank retiree unions.
And the original organization backing them is the All Indian Punjab National Bank Retired Officers Association. So the roots are PNB with retirees from what the circular calls EOBC, and PSB banks.
Right, but here's where it gets really insightful. This is where we connect the official record with the strategy on the ground. The AIBPARC Circular reveals that one of their key affiliates, an organization called Arise from Indian Overseas Bank, is technically only an impleading party.
Wait, hold on, let's define that. An impleading party. They're not one of the original plaintiffs who started the case, right? So, what's their significance?
Think of it like this: the original petitioners are the first troops on the ground who started the fight back in 2008. The impleading party, Arise et al., in this case, they are the critical reinforcements. They didn't start the action, but they've legally stepped in to join the existing battle and provide support.
And it sounds like this isn't passive support at all. The circular makes that clear.
Not at all. It emphasizes that Arise took the initiative to consistently pursue this case in every possible way. And here's the crucial detail: they've been handling the financial aspect of legal fees of senior advocates and lawyers.
Wow, okay, that is strategic gold. So the insight here is that this isn't just the original group footing the bill. A major affiliate, Arise, is basically the financial engine keeping this 9-year marathon going.
Exactly. They are paying for the top tier senior advocates you need for a Supreme Court final hearing.
I'm fascinated by that. Does that suggest the original group was running out of money after 9 years? Or is this more of a calculated power move by AIBPARC to show a unified front by bank retirees unions?
I think it speaks volumes about their unified resolve. I mean, whatever the finances of the PNB Retirees Union were, this action by Arise signals that this is an existential battle for the entire banking retiree community. It's not just PNB retirees anymore.
So, by backing the legal fees, they ensure the case is presented with the absolute best resources. They maintain momentum, control the narrative, and take the fight to the institutions that have denied justice to retirees for nearly 2 decades or more.
And that desire to control the narrative is really echoed in this powerful message of caution in the circular. It's signed by the President and General Secretary of AIBPRs.
The warning against misinformation.
Yes, they dedicate a big section to it. They explicitly state, and I think this is a critical takeaway, that it's become common practice to assume, speculate, and then sell conclusive views without having full knowledge on the issue in the social media.
They're essentially telling their members, ignore the noise.
Exactly. Look to us for veracity.
The stakes are just too high for, as they put it, knee jerk reactions. They urge everyone to rely upon AIBPARC circulars only.
It really reinforces that commitment to process and precision. This isn't just about legal strategy, it's about communication strategy, keeping their huge membership united, correctly informed, and focused.
It's a high level coordination effort.
Absolutely. And YouTube channels like The Bloggerian have a responsibility to always ensure that information disseminated on the subject are validated and corroborated.
The legal financial communication.
All of it.
If you're watching this podcast but haven't subscribed, please subscribe, share, like, comment, and post our podcasts to Facebook and on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Your subscription, comments, shares, and likes convince YouTube algorithm to recommend our podcasts, which ensures many more retirees will see our podcasts. Thank you.
But even the best plans, they can't stop the reality of the Supreme Court's calendar.
Even the master of the roster, the Chief Justice, is exercised by the court's calendar.
And that brings us to the delay that pushed this hearing into the new year.
Right? We move from the strategic to the purely logistical. The December 17th hearing was the target, but the court's own operational schedule got in the way, and this is where a message from Advocate Sri Sioram, which is in the circular, gives us that essential inside view on court logistics.
Okay, so let's break down that schedule because it explains exactly why a final hearing of this magnitude just couldn't happen in late December.
First, the unavoidable stop, the Supreme Court winter vacation. That's a mandated break from December 22nd, 2025 right through to January 2nd, 2026. A complete halt.
But even before and after the vacation, the calendar was constrained. The week of December 15th to the 19th and the week after January 5th to the 9th were both declared miscellaneous matters week.
And that's a crucial distinction. A miscellaneous matters week means the court is prioritizing, procedural stuff, motions, minor issues.
So, not the big stuff like MC Singla, which is up for final disposal, final judgment.
Not the big stuff. They are not dedicating the big uninterrupted time slots you need for a full lengthy final hearing like this one.
So you've got 2 weeks, one before and one after the break, where no lengthy arguments could realistically happen.
Exactly. So that means the normal daily hearings, where a case like this can finally get its time, would only begin from Monday, January 12th, 2026.
This logistical crunch is what pushed everything into mid January. It wasn't about a failure to file or a lack of preparedness.
Ah, not at all. It was purely about the judiciary's operational calendar at the turn of the year.
And of course, regular final matters like this one are typically scheduled for specific days, Wednesday and Thursday.
Right. But just to add one more little wrinkle, January 14th, 26 is a holiday. So that takes out the first potential Wednesday of regular hearings.
So frustrating. If you're a retiree watching this, every new date means another few weeks of waiting for a decision that determines your standard of living and quality of life.
It is. But it also means that the dedicated efforts of everyone involved now have a concrete new window to focus on.
Which brings us to the prediction. Based on all those unavoidable court logistics, what are the new crucial dates we need to circle on our 2026 calendar?
Well, the advocate's prediction, based on when normal hearings resume, the Wednesday Thursday norm, and that January 14th holiday, it all points to the first available opportunity. The MC Singla case may come up for hearing on Wednesday, January 15th, 2020s.
January 15th, that's the first available day where a regular substantial hearing could even take place.
That's the one. And if it doesn't make that list for some reason, the alternative date still in that regular list cycle would be the following week. So Wednesday, January 21st or Thursday, January 22nd, 2026.
So the final hearing that was set for mid December has been firmly reset for mid to late January. This shifts the entire focus of the banking retiree community to those 3 days.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, it just underscores the need for this continuous organized effort, Arise providing the money, AIB Park handling communications to guide this marathon case through all the procedural hurdles.
It's a demanding exercise in consistent management.
It really is.
They've done everything they can to ensure the best possible chance when that January date finally arrives.
The path of this bank pension updation case is, well, it's clearly complex. It involves massive financial stakes for so many retirees. And the focus now shifts entirely to those predicted hearing dates, January 15th or the 21st and 2nd, 2026.
So you now have the exact context, the organizational strategy, and the critical dates straight from the source material, cutting through all the speculation.
This whole thing raises an important question for me. Given this absolute reliance on organizational circulars and the warnings against social media, what broader institutional mechanisms are really needed for everyday people to track these complex, high impact cases transparently without having to rely solely on these kinds of advisories?
A very good question.
You now have the dates and the context. What will the next regular list reveal about the path to final disposal for MC Singla?
That is the critical question that we will be waiting for the answers to in mid January.
Nail bitingly so.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We trust it's brought you right up to date as we enter 2026.
Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcasts with family, friends, and on social media.